Hello and welcome to IFL's Crafternoon on Facebook. Today we are going to be making a faux stained glass window. For this project you will need cardboard, a utility or X-Acto knife, a cutting board, a ruler, paint and a paintbrush, markers, plastic wrap, a coloring pattern, tape, glue, string, and scissors. Let's get started. We're going to start by making a frame for our stained glass. I'm using a large piece of cardboard that I'm going to cut into 2 squares. So I'm just measuring this to cut it in half. And as you can see, my ruler's not quite long enough, so I'm going to use a T ruler that my husband has and use that to help me measure and cut this today. Just line it up. And then use your knife to cut along your straight edge to cut that cardboard into 2 even pieces. You may need to go over the cut several times to get the whole way through the cardboard. Now I know that this piece of cardboard is too tall for what I want, so I'm going to go ahead and cut it down to the size that I want. I want the opening of my frame to be about 9 inches. So I'm going to make this 11 inches so that my frame can be 1 inch thick the whole way around. Please be careful when you're using this knife. They are very sharp and I don't want anyone to cut off any fingers. Now that I have my cardboard the correct size, I'm going to go ahead and measure in 1 inch from each of the sides so that my frame is 1 inch thick the whole way around. You can make the sides of your frame any thickness you want. I decided to go 1 inch because I didn't want it to be too heavy of a frame. Now that we have all of those sides drawn, we're going to use our knife and our straight edge to cut along the black lines. And you want to make sure you don't go past the top and bottom lines, stopping at the corner. Once you have this one done, you'll repeat this process with the second piece of cardboard. You can always use this as a pattern so you don't have to do all that measuring again. Just lay this one on top of your second piece, trace the inside square, and cut. Now that we have our frames cut out, we're going to go ahead and paint them. I'm going to paint mine black, but you can paint yours whatever color you want. And it's really just a quick coat of paint. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. Now let's get started on our faux stained glass. I just printed off a pattern from the internet of a free coloring page that I thought would make a pretty stained glass window. I'm going to go ahead and tape it down to my work surface so that it doesn't move. I'm then going to use plastic wrap, make it a little bit bigger than my picture. And you want to make sure that this is nice and flat over top of your picture, and we're going to go ahead and tape that down as well. So you're going to tape the top, bottom, and both sides. You might want to make your tape longer than I did so that it goes the whole way across the top and bottom, up and down both sides, just so that it doesn't move around any while you're coloring. Okay, now that we have it all taped down and our plastic wrap is smooth across our picture, we're going to go ahead and start coloring. Now, you can color your picture however you want with markers. I am using Sharpie markers because I think that they work really well, but you can choose any type of marker that shows up on your plastic wrap. So, have fun coloring your picture, and we'll be back whenever I have mine colored. Alright, now that I have my picture all colored, you're going to take a black marker and trace all of the black lines on your picture. This is really going to show up nicely when you hang it up and be the black lead lines of your stained glass. So you want to take your time and go around all of the lines, and if you, while you were coloring, you went out of the lines a little bit, this is where you can fix it, because we're going to take that paper off behind, so you'll never actually see the picture behind that. Now we're going to put it all together. Unfortunately, you can't see the bottom of my picture because the camera angle is wrong, but I'm going to untape the bottom and take one of my frames and slide it between the paper and the plastic. And I'm going to slide it in with the painted side down. You see it just slides right up in there. And once I get my picture centered in the middle of the frame, I'm going to go ahead and trim the plastic wrap at the bottom and tape the plastic wrap to the cardboard frame. Alright, I think you'll be able to see it now, so we're just going to, like I said, trim that plastic wrap right across. And then I'm just going to use Scotch tape to tape it to the frame. You do want to make sure to pull it tight because we want to make sure that there are no wrinkles in our plastic wrap. Then I'm going to repeat this process for each of the sides and the top. I'm going to add some more Scotch tape to each of my corners just because I want to make sure that that plastic wrap is pulled tight so that there aren't any wrinkles in it. Now I'm just going to use some craft glue and go the whole way around my frame. Just one bead of glue will be enough. This is also when I'm going to add a hanger. So I'm just going to be using a piece of string that I had laying around, and I'm just going to go ahead and add it at the top. So I just want to make sure that it is in the glue so that it sticks. And then I'm going to take my other frame and place it right on top, lining them up so that the whole of the frame is even. Just press that tight and let it dry. And now you have a beautiful faux stained glass window. Stay safe and see you next week on Crafternoon on Facebook.